Hello, friends. Welcome back to Sunday Shenanigans with me, your host, Trevor Stewart 1308. And we're here with the Peanut Gallery and the ASOC Prod cat. That was oddly punctuated. I apologize for that. We're here with the ASOC Prod cat, comma, and the Peanut Gallery. There we go. And we're playing along with NPR's Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me today with special guest Jeff Gordon. But before that, let me race on through the ad read. We're actually doing Breakfast with the Kush Gang today because we missed Breakfast with the Kush Gang yesterday. Because we had stuff to do. Mm-hmm. So, today, we will be eating some cookies, 300 milligrams per package. We will be drinking a couple of bottles of Kush juice. And we will be eating apple butter. I am so excited about this. This is something special. When I went up to the Canna Market yesterday and saw them sauteing them, and I saw the apple butter, I was like, "Oh, how'd you know? How'd you know?"
So this infused apple butter?
Yes, 100 milligrams for the jar. Which means I have no reason to not eat the entire jar.
As I said, that would be dangerous for me.
Oh, yeah, no. I have a feeling that a spoonful would be dangerous for you. I have a feeling that you don't have the kind of tolerance that I do. I have a feeling you really don't have any tolerance to it. Do you? Like, have you ever?
I have very limited exposure to THC.
How limited? Like, so limited that it's limited to sitting next to me? Because that is limited exposure.
Not quite that limited, no.
I think mine is that limited.
Did you enjoy it? You know, it could have been, some of it could have been the people you were around. Some of it could have been there are all kinds of, but I'm not going to peer pressure you into trying again. Just know if you're ever interested, I got you. Kush Gang is one of our sponsors, purveyors of fine edibles, and you can find them on Fridays up at Frosty Fridays at the Hidden Leaf, who will be providing our pre-rolls for after breakfast. The Hidden Leaf, downtown Charlottesville, Virginia, 105 West Main Street on the downtown mall. Suite 200 above the bricks, between the Green Cauldron and Hamilton's. A great place to go with some great buds to get some great buds. A bud, and the only thing better than their bud is their customer service. And they have the lowest prices in town, according to my own, personally, highly biased research, by which I mean I was personally very high when I did my biased research. Don't forget to check the website for times and events. such as Frosty Fridays, where you can find the Kush Gang, friend of the channel and purveyor of fine edibles and drinkables, and Firehouse Craft Farm. The website is thehiddenleafcville.com. That's thehiddenleafcville.com. All one word. Note of disclosure, we are politically opinionated people, and we will be having political opinions during this show, because Wait, Don't Tell Me is kind of political. I mean, they aren't necessarily politically oriented themselves, but kind of. And so we will be expressing our opinions. Those opinions belong to us, the channel, the expressor of the opinion, and or the network. However, they do not necessarily belong to any of our sponsors. All of our sponsors are businesses and therefore don't necessarily share our opinions. Yeah, that's about right. I got distracted by the apple butter. That smells so good. Oh, that... Tastes like childhood.
Apparently, THC is still processed by the liver before you actually get the effects.
Is it? I mean,
Yeah,
it is, I think.
So, if that is any indicator, I might not have a very strong effect of it.
You might not have a very strong what? Oh, it may
Reaction.
not. Right. Because you have that dwarf high tolerance.
Yes.
Similar to me.
I do not have the built-up tolerance that you also have.
No, but I do have that dwarf high tolerance is, and that's an across the board. Even when I don't have a built-up tolerance to something.
I mean, that would explain why both of you seem to like Art Deco as much as you do.
All right. I'll bite. Why's that?
Art Deco is Dwarven style. Art Nuevo is Elvish style.
Yep.
See, well, okay, now, see, now, hey, now. Saying this corrosion to me. Oh, don't you start with that. If you start, it is a short jump from hey nani to pip pip cheerio, and then I shall have to have you arrested.
I'm going back to bed.
No such luck. You're here. We're doing this. Oh, I also like Art Nouveau. I'm also a big fan of Art Nouveau. And I also have an elf high tolerance. Like, it's not like I just have a dwarven tolerance. I also have an elven tolerance.
I hate the outtake from Lord of the Rings.
Oh?
Two Towers, one of the deleted scenes was Gimli and that damn frou-frou elf son of a gun. Whatever his name is. I honestly cannot remember at the moment. I'm getting into a
Legolas.
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 Orlando Bloom.
But in the
Will
outtakes,
Turner?
they have
In the outtakes.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Sorry. Yes, they're having
All
a
right.
drinking
Stop
competition.
pirating my stream.
Your joke.
No, it's my joke, but still.
It's his stream. It's your joke.
That's why I said it that way.
Okay.
But it's not really a joke. It's they have the two of them get into a drinking contest, and it comes back later, and Legolas says, "Oh, my finger's a little bit tingly."
Mm-hmm.
And Gimli goes, "And elf can't hold his," and falls over, drunk, just falls under the table at that moment. It's like, yeah, no, stop making the dwarves the jokes. The elves are the ones that effed everything up. Stop making the joke out of the dwarves.
Mm.
Wow. That's a hot take there, homie. Wow.
Have you read anything
Yes.
from the Silmarillion?
Yes.
Anything from...
No, I'm not
anything-
saying you're wrong. I'm not saying I even disagree with you. I'm just saying that's a very hot take to have.
They are the entire reason Middle Earth is as screwed up as it is. They refuse to take any responsibility for it.
They're more human than the humans.
No, they're the billionaires.
Ah! Yes, okay, fine.
They represented the noble class in Britain at the time. At the time of World War I and II. And how the noble class in Britain just got everything all messed up for the little guys and didn't take any responsibility for it. Like I said, it's not that I disagree with the hot take. I'm just saying that was a hot take.
Oh, it's one that I have absolutely no problem beating anybody else about the head and shoulders with.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that that's a hill you're willing to die under?
It's big enough one, isn't it?
I see, much like the wandering wizard that I am, I see the merits in both the dwarves and the elves. And I've seen their shortcomings. And their overreach. And again, I say, the hobbits, they shall carry this land.
I'm not saying that the elves don't have their merits. I'm just saying that they are overrated, and no one seems to take the dwarves seriously.
Hey, I take the dwarves seriously. As seriously as I take anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I talked Trilhala into helping me create a half-dwarf race for D&D.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I told him you'll look up Dark Sun.
I could never square myself with Dark Sun. I couldn't play it. I could never bring myself to play Dark Sun. It seemed so it seemed so far away from anything I wanted to do, you know? All right, I have one complaint. Somebody snuck up and ate all of my apple butter.
You better talk to Deadpan Dog then.
Damn it, DJ 1308.
Oh, that's who did it. Yes. While you were busy arguing over dwarves versus elves, DJ 1308 snuck in and finished off the apple butter.
Dang, that was delicious. It's all gone.
Well done.
Sad face emoji.
Ooh.
I've been hanging out with someone who does that.
Ah,
Who says
fair enough.
laughing face emoji or sad face emoji.
Okay.
And I think it's hilarious personally. And not in a like, oh, they're being stupid, like making fun of them, hilarious kind of way. No, I just think it is conceptually awesome. I like it.
I'm fine with that as long as the person is also in on the joke, as opposed to this is honestly the only way they can conceptualize it.
No, they're in on the joke. First time they did that and I looked at them funny, they said, I know. I was like, okay. Long as we're all on the same page. I'm with you. Aw, what you crying about?
Said sad face emoji.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a very good sad face emoji. All the apple butter gone. Did we discuss this topic as far as we're going to discuss this topic? What topic were we discussing?
Breakfast with the Kush Gang is what started it.
Oh, dwarves and elves. Yeah.
You brought up dwarf intolerances. I made the comment about see
Legless?
sections legless, yes, and we went downhill from there.
You two went downhill from there. I went and got tea.
Thanks for making that distinction.
Downhill with us.
No, I left the room. I have things in my hands that I did not have at the beginning of the show. I left the room and let you two be.
I left the room. I'm not responsible for you guys.
Exactly.
That's what they all say. Oh my goodness, that was delicious though. Well, now actually no. We're not done. I want to know how Kat feels about this subject. I want to know where Kat what Kat thinks.
Yeah.
That is not gonna cut it. That is not an acceptable answer. Are dwarves underrated in the mainstream consideration? Are dwarves underrated Does the lamestream media not treat dwarves with the respect they deserve?
I think elves are overrated in certain media circles. But the dwarves also have dwarven heavy metal bands. So,
Diggy diggy hole.
Diggy diggy hole.
yes, diggy diggy hole. Was it Iron Rose?
I think so.
Very nice band. Very willing to do all sorts of very interesting music arrangements. Up to and including, we are in the middle of this extreme heavy metal band. We have got our dwarven costumes on. This looks like we have set the stage for some sort of epic wizarding battle. And now we are singing the theme song to insert whatever cartoon someone asked for that they actually knew. They are singing the Scooby-Doo theme song on stage running around, and it fit. Because Scooby-Doo.
Today's pre-rolls brought to you by the Hidden Leaf. You know, if we're talking about fantasy bands, I hate to say it, but like, I personally, my favorite fantasy band is the goth jam band crossover, the Grateful Undead.
Okay.
I mean, they've got a vampire on lead vocals, zombie on the drums. I don't know. Skeletons.
I think elves get done,
The Grateful Undead.
get way more press than they really should. With all the other...
Pretty privilege. It's pretty privilege.
Yeah.
Let's face it. Elves get pretty privilege.
Yeah.
No one likes Hephaestus, but everybody needs him.
Hmm?
I said no one likes Hephaestus.
I was in agreement, Sam.
Oh, okay. But everyone needs him. What's that chuckle about?
Oh, they especially need him in the bedroom. His other name is Vulcan.
Hug out! There he blows!
Now you know where the chuckle comes from.
Ain't nothing I'm about to say gonna be right, so I'm not saying anything. All right.
Enjoying how much mileage we're getting out of that joke.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying how much mileage we're getting out of that one joke.
It has about as much endurance as the Energizer Bunny. It just goes and goes and goes.
Keeps it coming. She asked for a double entendre, so I gave her one.
Nice.
Thank you. It's a classic. Before this devolves any further, let's do what we came here to do. Let
Your
me
pen and
get...
paper ready?
Got my pen and paper ready. Y'all got yours?
I'm finding mine. I was terrible, and I actually cleaned up my workspace the other day.
Oh, why? Why would you ever do that to yourself?
Because it was overflowing to a point where I kind of needed to.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Alright, I has paper. I has pen. I has
Can
tea.
has cheeseburger?
It's too early cheeseburger. Has chips.
And has cheese, no burger.
I have a feeling that there are young interweb users who do not know what that means. They have no idea about I Can Has cheeseburger.
Along with Muds, Mushes, ICQ, and a number of other things.
Right? No, Muds, I think they understand. Because they've got...
There are modern versions of it, but they
Yeah.
do not call it anything close to that. So if you talk
No.
about being a mud or anything like that, they'll have no clue.
Right. Right. Whereas...
And has cheeseburger is the exact same thing. It's just our terminology for a meme.
Yeah, I guess it is. It was sort of, it's sort of like, it's the meme that started the digital memeing for us. It was the Doge, meme before the Doge meme. And of course, it was a cat meme.
Yeah.
It was...
Yes, the internet is made of tubes and pipes that are run by cats.
Right.
Right.
That back when that was what the internet was. All right. So, now that we've gotten all of that out of the way. I think we are just about ready to does this.
Okay.
This message comes from
Can you
NPR
all hear
sponsor
it?
Delta Airlines. Delta's mission to connect the world begins with a commitment to the communities where their employees live, work, and serve. Delta, committed to giving back for nearly 100 years.
From NPR and WBEZ Chicago, this is Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, the NPR News Quiz. You may know me as the voice of Bill Curtis. I am Bill Curtis, and here is your host at the Studebaker Theater at the Fine Arts Building in Chicago, Illinois, Peter Sagal.
Thank you, Bill. I share your excitement. We have a great show for you today. Later on, we are going to be joined live on stage by NASCAR legend Jeff Gordon. It's very exciting. It's a little, this sort of thing, not what he's used to. So to make him feel more at home, halfway through our conversation, a crew will come out and change all 4 of his tires. But first, it's your turn to do a lap with us. Give us a call to play our games. The number is 1-888-WAIT-WAIT. That's 1-888-924-8924. Let's welcome our first listener contestant. Hi, you are on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Hi, this is Lauren Ring calling from Seattle, Washington.
Oh, Seattle, one of my favorite places. What do you do there in that beautiful place?
I'm a nephrologist or a kidney doctor.
A kidney doctor. I've always wondered about anybody like yourself who specializes in just one organ, right? Do you ever get bored and say, man, I wish I could work on something else, just once, another organ?
Well, even I would rather just be a left kidney versus a right kidney, so even more specialization.
Oh, really? Yeah. Has it gotten to this point? It's like, oh, no, you're wrong side, lady. You have to go see someone else. Well, welcome to our show, Lauren. Let me introduce you to our panel this week. First up, it's a comedian you can see at Hey Nani in Arlington Heights.
What'd you say?
That was a good answer.
It was.
It's Illinois on August 1st. It's Adam Burke.
Hi, Lauren.
Next up, a comedian and host of the podcast Fake the Nation, a news and culture show that the federal government would also defund if they could. It's Negin Farsad.
Hi, Nikki.
And making his debut on our panel, a comedian whose debut comedy special Surprise Me is now out on YouTube. Vulture just called it a comedy special you should watch. It's Zach Zimmerman.
Hi, Zach.
I have some questions for you after you get off.
Well, welcome to the show, Lauren. You're going to play Who's Bill this time. Bill Curtis is going to read you 3 quotations from this week's news. If you can correctly identify or explain just 2 of them, you will win our prize. Any voice from our show you might choose on your voicemail. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. Now, your first quote is actually 2 quotes. They're from both sides of a partnership that suddenly ended this week. Here's the first quote. This is from President Trump.
Trump and Elon.
We had a great relationship.
Elon Musk.
I don't know if we will anymore.
And here is his devastated ex.
Donald Trump is in the Epstein files.
So, who is no longer President Trump's BFF?
Well, it's not Melania, so I think I'd say Elon Musk.
Right. Right.
Good guess.
Melania's wishing she could get away from him that easily.
Oh, I just finally realized how he ended up in the White House with Trump. It was a typo. He was trying to get Melania. He got Elon.
Worst typo ever. Dang.
Either way, I think we all get a point for that. I think if we didn't know it, we should lose points.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, me.
That. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
now
yeah.
that joke has settled in. Worst typo ever. That's going to stick with me.
Yeah.
Trump gave Elon Musk, his partner, a nice send-off in the White House last week, but then things suddenly got real dark. Musk called Trump's big budget bill, quote, an abomination. Trump then called Musk a big disappointment. Musk said Trump couldn't have won the election without him, and then, as you heard, Musk escalated things. Poor Elon. We're about to find out how much ketamine it takes to fix a broken heart.
Like, I know we're supposed to do other questions or whatever, but this is all I want to talk about.
On this very special edition.
Yeah.
Wait, don't tell me.
First off, Merry Christmas. Secondly, while we're renaming like gulfs and stuff, can we just change, just for today, the American flag to that gif of Michael Jackson eating popcorn? Here's the thing about this show. Like, I've been doing this show 10 years, and the production team here, I know you think it's all going to be like polysyllabic fart jokes and like gags about some weird study about Swedish cats, but the one thing we really love in this show is a pair of messy bitches just going at it in the employee parking lot. It's just like,
And they had this terrible breakup, but it gets worse. I'm sorry, it gets better.
Happy Pride.
Trump said he would cancel Elon's government contracts. Elon said Trump should be impeached. And then, the hardest blow of all, Elon canceled his X account. That's a low blow.
Oh.
But we've all been there. We've all had these experiences. You know, the whole time Elam was still wearing Trump's old hoodie because it smells like him.
Oh, God.
And the thing is, I mean, we're going to enjoy it while it lasts, because obviously Trump is going to back down in 5 days, or Taco Tuesday, as it's now known.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I love that Elon was like, oh, he's in the Epstein files, and I should know, because so am I. You know?
Right?
We're right next to each other.
But then you're also, like, now comes the phase where you're always worried that you're going to run into your ex, and so you try and look hot while you're out, you know, in public.
Right.
At least that's what I do. And so now I'm just like, is Trump going to wear an extra long tie? Like, what are we going to see?
The revenge bodies are about to drop.
All right. Your next quote is advice from The Atlantic magazine this week.
Buying whole heads might keep you from barfing up your Caesar salad.
Due to increasing cuts to the FDA, among many other things, people are being advised to stay safe by avoiding what?
Lettuce.
Is it cucumbers?
It's not cucumbers. It's
Food?
It is something that goes into your salad. The advice was to buy whole heads of something rather than what we all
lettuce.
usually buy it.
Romaine.
Lettuce.
Yes, bagged lettuce is what we all need to avoid. Let's give it up for bagged lettuce, the greatest convenience ever. Experts are saying bagged lettuce could be the most dangerous thing in your house now, thanks to all the inspectors who've been fired.
Now, I'd like to say that my answer of food,
Oh yeah, that counts. For the same reason, they have fired all of the health inspectors.
right. It's not just bagged lettuce you need to stay away from, just all food.
I am glad that the stuff that went down at the Boar's Head processing plants happened last year and the year before, and before all of these cuts started taking away USDA inspectors and stuff.
Right. Me too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm used to being able to eat my meat relatively raw and be safe. And that's because I actually have a lot of faith in the FDA.
Mm-hmm. It's not just the processing that's done on the bagged lettuce, it's the fact that during that processing or before that processing, they're not properly taking care of it.
George Floyd, he OHD'd. I'm trying to make sure I say your name correctly, because, George Floyd. But what's wrong with getting rid of corrupted employees? Hey, corrupted employees, sure, but, I don't think the FDA inspectors were corrupted.
At least not the great swaths of them that were just like
Right. And buying organic non-GMO doesn't necessarily save you from that. A lot of the food that's been genetically modified has been genetically modified to get rid of things that are harmful to humans. And to be able to, now granted, a lot of GMOs have also been made so that we get this, really heavy producing monoculture of crops. And that's not good, especially because they start losing nutritional value. But their danger for being infected with pathogens is a lot lower than the non-GMO. And organic
All right. The thing is that the contaminations that are happening are things like listeria, which occur naturally in the soil.
right, and occur naturally in organic soil, like organic gardening. There listeria happens very easily in certain organic mulches and composts.
So it's less a case of going non-GMO and organic. It's a case of the way that the product is brought to market is not has been messed with. The bagged stuff is supposed to be washed and chopped and then bagged in such a way that anything on it like dirt that has listeria is washed away. But that's not happening. It's not
because
true.
the people who were checking to make sure all of that happens got fired.
Right. So
So don't trust food.
People who certify it are the same people who got fired, who would be checking and verifying the other stuff as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if it's what version it is. If it's just being dug up and halfway processed correctly and just thrown in a bag, it doesn't matter if it's consumed faster or not. It doesn't matter anything, because what you've got is a product that is labeled as ready to eat, that is not labeled, that's not ready to eat.
Right.
If you've got a head of lettuce that still has dirt on it, most people look at that dirt and go, oh, this is dirty, I don't like that, and they wash it, which takes care of a whole bunch of that
host
issue.
of problems.
Back to the show.
Yes. And yeah, George Floyd. Oh, see, I'm not sure if I'm reading that as oh he did or OHD'd. So,
Oh, just the first part, George.
yeah. It is a I mean, this, what you say here, none of that is part of the organic process, is exactly the point. The non-GMO and organic have nothing to do with the FDA being gutted. Like, except that now FDA doesn't have the people to check on whether your organic stuff is really organic or not. Like,
Which is another big thing, yes.
like now those organic stickers mean even less.
Right.
Because no one's checking to make sure that it's backed up.
That was a reverse Pokeball for a minute. Anyway.
They can't be washed off, but they can be flushed out. A good 2 weeks of just clean water flushing of your crops should get rid of most soil-borne pesticides and the like. And fertilizers. No, hopefully it's happening before the lettuce gets bagged. Hopefully the water flushing is happening, before they're harvesting it. But again, without FDA employees, there's nobody to check. So we don't know if it's even being water flushed.
I'm going to put a halt here because this is going in a loop.
It
and we
really
really do need
is.
to get back to the show.
All right, back onto the show.
Fired from the FDA, so, forget about worrying about measles. Now you can die by food poisoning. Luckily, bagged lettuce, though, has its own built-in safety feature. It turns into a brown goo before you can eat it.
This is such great vindication for jerks like me who have a pretty much just red meat diet. Turns out I've been the healthiest one all along.
Right? They're not inspecting the meat plants
Exactly.
either, Adam. They'll get you. Don't worry about it.
As a vegetarian, this hits close to home. It really does.
It's bad.
Bagged lettuce is disgusting. Maybe it's just the produce near my
it?
home.
So you're one of those fancy people who buys heads of lettuce and cuts it up yourself, are you?
Well, the quiet contemplation of chopping a vegetable is a little too much for me, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
So
I
what
don't
do
know.
you-
I can't. I don't
So you
cook.
just eat them whole, or you just chew on huge?
Do you put them in
heads
like
of
a
lettuce?
shredder, a letter shredder?
I'm using a innovation called Uber Eats in order to consume most of my daily calories.
Yeah, I'm so glad how you people, you vegetarians are getting back to the
You
land.
people.
Ouch! Oh, Peter! Oh, you
Hard to be
better
on the right
look
side
out.
of history.
It really is. All right, your last quote is from a New York Times commenter bragging about a recent accomplishment.
I wanted to read 52 of them in 2024, but I actually read 54.
That person no doubt will be competing in the hot new contest this summer. People all over the country vying to see who can do what the most.
I would say books.
Books?
Yes, read books. Forget your softball leagues, hanging by the pool. The cool new way to avoid your children this summer is reading. Summer reading programs, like when you log your books you've read and you count them up, and if you win, you get prizes. They were once just for kids, but now bookstores across the country are launching them for lonely adults as well. Now, don't.
I want my pizza party.
You and me both.
So wait, we can do this again? Book It is happening for adults again?
Wait, my thing is, I know that I read a lot, and I'm hearing 52 and trying to think, okay, what are we reading?
Like
is
what
this- are
what
we
size
reading-
books do they have to be? Because I can easily read 52 wiring manuals like that. I may
All
not
right,
get
well-
anything out of them, but I can read them.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting here going like, all right, it is just the beginning part of June. I know that my read book list since January has got like 70 books on it, and I'm like, what?
Do graphic novels count?
Yes, words.
Got words. Sad thing is
If
I
they
don't
count
read
at the
that much
library from
anymore.
The kids' trunk, then they count now.
They didn't count graphic novels when I was a kid. They did.
You had the wrong library.
No, I was just. I mean, yes, but also no. It was the 80s. It was the early 80s. It was Satanic Panic era. No, comic books weren't going to be allowed. No form of comic book was going to be allowed. Like, nah. They were not respected in their art form at the time.
Yeah, no, they're definitely a lot more respected
But-
now.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Be intimidated by the challenge of reading as many as 50 books in the summer. Getting through a lot of books is easy. Just keep a book.
Were you going to say something?
No, I'm still just going like,
You want your pizza party?
yeah.
Yep. I want my pizza party, dang it!
A book nearby you at all times and read it while you're waiting until you can skip the ad on your YouTube video.
How big is summer reading getting?
No, it is apparently quite popular. I've seen everywhere summer reading lists, people putting out, this is what you read. Some of them were even written by humans, which is nice.
It's gotten so crazy here in Chicago, you'll see guys on the sidewalk with like long coats and they'll open it up and they'll just have paperbacks. Can I interest you in a Maeve Binchy, you know?
By the way, if you don't want to read anything this summer, but you want to pretend you did, just say all you read this summer was romantasy. And if somebody asks you what the book was about, just say it was elf sex.
Werewolves.
You'll be close enough.
The ears are involved.
Elves, yeah.
I'll leave it to Adam.
Is that
Look,
a title?
man.
Right.
If you claim dwarf fantasy sex, like if that's your, people have follow-up questions.
Not really.
Oh, I do.
Really nice. There's some really nice books out there.
Look,
Although usually what it is it's a
you
series.
don't get to
There's
say
more
people don't
and
have
more.
follow-up questions when you're the one who doesn't have follow-up questions, because you do not make up a cross-section of America. You are way too...
Likely to read weird stuff anyway, yes.
Right. We've covered that your exposure to normal literature is and normal not just literature but normal popular cultural touchstones is severely limited. More so
Limited
than
in
mine.
spirit.
More so than mine. And mine was severely limited.
Or Ford, touchstone.
Ow.
Starring Rock Hard!
Yay.
I'm sorry, that was... we were way too fast on that, man.
I couldn't leave that one alone.
No.
I mean,
Back to the show.
yes. It's back to the show.
Bill, how did Lauren do in our quiz?
Her score was so perfect she can now move over to the left kidney.
There you go. Well done. Thank you so much for calling and playing.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Right now, panel, it is time for you to answer some questions about this week's news. Zach, this week a woman went viral when she found her husband's diary and made an amazingly surprising discovery. What was it?
He was cheating on her.
No.
He was loyal his whole life.
That's may or may not be true, but that's not what she was amazed and put on the internet.
He couldn't write.
No, he could, but he wrote... I'll
A
give you
novel.
Poetry?
She had the first thing she did was she had to go and get her magnifying glass.
Oh,
Very
he
small.
wrote very tiny.
Yes, he had the
Tiny.
tiniest handwriting. And she put this on the internet, and everybody goes nuts for it. After hesitating for as much as 3 seconds, the woman opened up her husband's diary to learn his secrets. But the real shock wasn't like a mistress or a secret family, but her husband's, quote, ant-sized font handwriting. Maybe she should have suspected something, considering his diary was written on 1 grain of rice.
Wait, and then also she just like put that page online?
Yeah, well, she just put it online, and you can't read it, and maybe she should have tried to read it more carefully before she put it online, because what if like what he wrote in his tiny handwriting was, you know, I don't know if I can keep myself from killing again.
Right?
Like, oh, look at his cute handwriting.
I want to see his murder weapons, though. They're probably
Yeah, they're really cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could have been worse.
But what has he said about this? Like, what's
It's a really small
has
rope
he
or
defended
garage.
himself?
Apparently,
Somebody.
he's quite proud of his tiny little handwriting.
Wasn't he dead?
No, he's still alive.
Why is she reading his diary?
That is a very good question. I mean, in all the excitement, this incredible violation of...
Yeah.
No, I just have to pause for that. It's like, I thought he was dead. Nope. Why is she reading his diary? Probably because he said, oh, you can read my diary anytime you want, knowing full well that no one can read that crap.
I mean, that's very plausible, especially since he seems very proud of it.
Right.
I don't know. Talking about no one being able to read that crap, people still read 50 Shades of Grey and Twilight.
You have a point.
Of the two of them, and I'm really sorry to say that I think that Twilight is better than anything, but of the two of them, Twilight is the better.
Considering various people that I've spoken with that...
Twilight was a Mormon fanfic of 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes, and it was better.
Other way around.
Oh, that's even worse.
50 Shades was actually supposed to be a lot more supernatural, from my understanding, in the original
Mormons.
fanfic version.
Mormons. You know, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not talking trash about Mormons, because most of the Mormons that I have ever met have been really nice people. Really, like, actually okay people. Pretty well adjusted.
Mhm.
I mean, okay, yeah, the belief system, but all of us believe in some crazy crap, so whatever. But, like, why
People
is it?
themselves tend to be nice.
Huh?
As the people themselves tend to be on the nicer side of things, and we'll leave it at that.
Well,
I have
except
my
they
own-
also seem to produce some of the really, like, most toxic wackos. It's like you get
What's
this
the thing?
extreme polarization. You know, sort of like most of them are really nice people and extremely sort of on this really good, decent side. And then, like, there are a few that are just so insane and so dangerous and so not okay that they kind of balance out the other side of it.
Yeah.
But again, I'm an outsider, and so I'm not trying to talk crap about Mormons.
I'm an outsider and the daughter of an escaped Mormon, so
Mormons aren't quite the same level of dangerous cult as Jehovah's Witnesses.
no, they're not.
And
There's issues. They're
that's
not
the
same
where
issues.
right. That's where I'm gonna like that's one of those ones that I'm gonna be like, nah, JW is dangerous. Like that's and that's
The average
part of what gets part of where I draw this conclusion from is you know from presenters like John Lewis over on YouTube, who is an escaped JW and is has done research into cults, and so that he can provide this this alternative way of looking at the world, so that you don't get caught up in cults. And it's, you know, I only sort of stumbled into it. I was looking for some, you know, I was looking for left-wing stuff to watch. I was looking for black left-wing creators to watch. And so when I stumbled on his video, it was like, huh, okay, I am curious about this, though. And having come from the hippie commune that I grew up on, it is not not a cult, but it gets awful close to it in some ways, you know. And I feel like it's similar. It's sort of a similar thing to the Mormonism, where it's like not a cult, but it sure got close. And I'm interested in where the line is. Like, that's why I liked his videos, is like it gave me okay, this is a cult, this isn't. This is where the distinction is made. What were you saying now? I'm sorry. I just wanted to finish my thought before.
That's fair. I was going to say is that the biggest difference is, while there are Mormon communities, Mormon compounds, effectively, that tend to hang on to the more what is the word I am looking for?
Dogma? The more zealous dogma? Or
zealots.
Yeah.
The tend to retain the more zealous zealots. They're in their places, and in general, the Mormons you meet tend to be on the more reasonable side of things, and they're not all that way.
Okay.
Versus pretty much it's the opposite for the JW.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
You will find isolated pockets of relatively normal people, and the rest of them, even though they're not, obviously they are mentally and emotionally living in their own little zealot compound.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, let's get back to the show now. Now that we've discussed that in depth and to death.
This is because we didn't have a show yesterday, you realize.
I know. It is, yeah.
Cost has not been discussed.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I'd love to. She gets like 3 magnifying glasses out, and finally says, "It's called privacy, you jerk." You know?
The divorce papers are going to be on a Post-it note.
Coming up, hundreds of millions of dollars could be yours if you simply follow the instructions in our Bluff the Listener game. Call 1-888-WAIT-WAIT to play. We'll be back in a minute with more of Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me from NPR. Support for NPR and the following is at over 70. The stories you remember are Mitchell. Sign up today.
Give Redfin your searching today.
Backed by a national newsroom.
Don't tell me the NPR News Quiz. I'm Bill Curtis. We are playing this week with Zach Zimmerman, Red Hot, Adam Burke, and Nagin Farsad. And here again is your host at the Studebaker Theater in Chicago, Illinois, Peter Sagal.
Thank you, Bill.
it's time for the Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me Bluff the Listener game. Call 1-888-WAIT-WAIT to play our games on the air, or check out the pinned post on our Instagram page at WaitWaitNPR. Hi, you're on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Hi, Peter. This is Craig Ventura calling from the pizza capital of America, New Haven, Connecticut.
Oh, you knew it was
All right. Now listen, I know you think you're throwing down on us here in Chicago, but I've got a little...
What did you say there?
Pizza capital. That's a claim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Eyes for you, my friend. I agree with you. Craig, it's great to have you with us. You're going to play our game in which you must try to tell truth from fiction. Bill, what is Craig's topic?
How I Made Millions.
Somebody recently made millions and millions of dollars, and I'll give you a hint, they do not work in public broadcasting.
No
Our
kidding.
panelists are going to tell you how they made all that cash. Pick the one who's telling the truth. You'll win the Wait Waiter of your choice on your voicemail. Are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
Let us do it. First, let's hear from Adam Burke.
Uno Khan seemed poised to realize his lifelong dream of becoming a big-time movie producer earlier this year after raising an impressive $150 million from investors in his native Estonia. Those same backers, however, say Khan deliberately misled them about the talent he had arrayed for his supposedly star-studded blockbuster. Obviously, when he texted me that Brad Pitt was set to star, I assumed the H was a typo, says now disgruntled investor Arno Anson. But Khan had indeed secured the services of one Brad Pitt, a little-known Scottish actor he had seen performing on a cruise ship production of Grease. A lawsuit filed earlier this year says Khan knew exactly what he was doing when he hired the Tino brothers as writers, just so they'd make the wrong assumption when he said the script was by Clinton Tarantino. Steven Spielberg is definitely lined up to direct, though, insists Khan, neglecting to mention that the Steven Spielberg in question is a retired piano tuner from Berlin.
A man raises a lot of money to make a movie by using talent who sounds a lot like famous people. Your next story of fast fundraising comes from Nagin.
My godfather's last name is Khan. And this is not some sort of big reveal. We know this because Aunt Maddie.
Right.
Madeline Khan. Right? But that feels like the kind of con that Jeff...
That was a con job.
That is a con job, but that's the kind of con job that I would expect from...
Yep.
From my godfather. He for quite a while was a real estate agent. And I mean,
I have to give respect to somebody with that last name that's going to legitimately go into any type of sales job.
Right?
Especially real estate or cars.
He's a con man. So he owns some land out in the counties.
Mm-hmm.
Most of a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Which my father dubbed the Con Dome.
Really?
Oh, yeah. See, I just want you guys to know how hard I play against type to not be mean. Like, genetically, I am genetically modified to be a mean comedian. I work very hard to be kind to people.
It is appreciated.
So you are a GMO.
GMAO. Yes.
No, it'd be a GMA.
Genetically modified amusement.
Apple hat.
What?
Apple hat.
Trying to keep within your PG ratings.
No, I am not an apple hat, thank you.
True. You are genetically modified.
No. I'm not an apple hat. Either way. Like, that's not a... No. Many things may you call me, but apple hat is not one of them. That one I, for some reason, and I'm not entirely sure why, take exception to.
Okay.
At least
Maybe we'll
take
just have to
exception
butter you
to
up a little
being
more.
called. I don't mind other people getting called apple hats. Just, it's like if somebody calls me a Philistine, they getting ready to pick their teeth up with broken fingers. You know, there's certain things that you just don't call me.
Fair enough.
And I really don't know why apple hat and what it stands for bugged me so much. That one,
Because in general, that is a
because I find
behavior that you try really hard not to promote.
that's fair. Also, I find it, especially what it stands in for, I find it to be a cop-out of a curse. It's like you really are gearing up to say something else, but you lose your nerve at whole. It's like, why do you lose your nerve at the part that's not bad? I think that's what it is about it. I see it as not quite brave enough to be the full-on curse that it's supposed to be.
I mean, you're not wrong.
And why lose your nerve at whole and veer off to hat?
In my case, it's because I am used to modifying my language when I am worried that someone with little ears is around. So I'm used to.
And apple hat for little ears is fine. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. This isn't I'm not putting you yourself on trial for this one. I'm putting oh God, what's the last name of the family in that 70s show?
I don't know.
I'm putting Red on trial for this one. Because he's the one who said, you know, he's the one who said ass hat. And it's like,
No, he was pretty much. I'm just gonna put my foot up your ass.
No. He also said ass hat.
I missed
See,
that
now
one,
we're
though.
getting me. Now we're getting me to say it. And he said that because he could get away with it, where you can't actually get away with a-hole on network television. You can get away with
Not before that.
Yeah.
right. You can get away with a hat, but you can't get away with a hole. And so it really irks me that someone doesn't have the guts to go for it. Either don't have the guts to go for it at all and be like, you a-hole. And just say a-hole. Or...
Look out, a-hole. Hey, don't call me that!
Because that's exactly what would happen to me.
I mean, I can see that happening to you. I'm sorry, I could.
Yeah. And for me, it's like I have the courage to stand on that I'm not gonna say it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna dress it up by saying a hat instead of a hole. I'm just not saying a. Even though I've dropped that bomb a couple of times already.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not Canadian.
A?
You said it.
Lockpick.
Oh, I think he's over paying attention to his raid train right now. Eh? Oh, God. Oh, y'all weren't there last night. Oh, man. Okay, so my future ex-husband-in-law. My future ex-husband-in-law. God bless him. Got naked, wrapped himself in a Union Jack flag, in a British flag, and came back on camera. Went off camera to get naked and wrap himself in the flag, in the British flag.
Right.
Came back on camera and drunkenly sang 2 verses of God Save the King.
Okay.
It was terrifying and delightful. It was wonderful. Speaking of what Lockpick and Master Rasta 420 were doing last night.
We've got a request for Lockpick to go watch a movie and give us a review on it because we're curious.
What's that? What movie is that?
The Apprentice.
Oh, yes. Yes.
The Apprentice?
The Apprentice. It's showing in Canada.
The Apprentice, the
extremely truthful, I mean it, truthful docudrama about our Cheeto.
That one.
With Sebastian Stan playing the Cheeto.
Right.
The one that they can't release in the U.S. just yet because someone keeps blocking them and making it so they don't have enough money.
Right.
So they're running a Kickstarter for it.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Well, we are gonna, when we raid out, we're gonna raid into his raid train. Because you know how much I love running a train on Lockpick.
I know. We gotta get there first.
So, when we get there, y'all can ask him.
If I remember and have it
I'll remind you. I'll try to remind you. So back to the show. Because we haven't even broken 4 points yet.
No, we haven't.
When AI like ChatGPT, Claude, and the little thing that appears on the top of Google now started popping up, the tech sector couldn't get enough. That's when Building.ai entered the scene, promising that their AI could build software and that it was, quote, as easy as ordering a pizza. By the way, in another one of its disruptions, the tech world replaced easy as apple pie with easy as ordering pizza. So Building.ai promised an AI future for coding and managed to raise $450 million from people like SoftBank and Microsoft because corporations are people. But then the house of cards, or pizzas, all came falling. An early whistleblower noted that the whole operation was, quote, just a group of Indian developers pretending to write code as AI, which I'm assuming means, like any good AI, these 700 coders tried their best to subjugate humanity while also destroying the environment. The company has since filed for bankruptcy, leaving tens of millions in unpaid bills. It turns out defrauding people when there's no real oversight is actually as easy as ordering a pizza.
An AI company raises hundreds of millions in investment for their technology that turns out to be just 700 people. Your last story of somebody back.
Now, hold on. The reason I don't believe this is because ordering pizza has never been easy. So I don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially hard if you have more than just yourself ordering the pizza, because then you go through a whole rigmarole of choosing what toppings are appropriate. Because everybody can never agree on what toppings are the best. I mean, they're obviously
And there's
pepperoni
always someone like me who, in the back of their head, is like, man, if I don't get anchovies on my pizza, I swear I will stab every person in this room.
Go ahead and stab me, because you ain't getting anchovies on a pizza I'm eating.
And now I have a picture of the Battle of the Tactical Cheese Cutters in my head.
Remember, I dual wield. I'm ambidextrous.
While y'all are fighting, I'm taking the pizza and leaving.
You really want the pizza? It's covered in anchovies.
I will leave the anchovies in a pile somewhere.
This pizza has yet to manifest.
My anchovies!
We're in the middle of a blood duel over choosing what toppings first.
In which case, while you two are busy dueling over the toppings, I am ordering my own personal pizza.
See, this is why I don't believe option 2 here. We mentioned ordering pizza, and it is turned into a blood duel with a double cross by a third party.
It's not a double cross. It's just refusing to participate in the duel and saying, no, there's a better way.
Selfish mercenary response. Perfectly fine. While the two of us may feel betrayed, it definitely did not directly affect either of us.
You can still order your pizza once you figure it out. I'm just refusing to participate.
Next, you're going to tell me you don't like pineapple on your pizza, too.
Oh, no, I love it.
Pineapple and anchovy, baby. That's my pizza.
Can we get bacon on half and anchovies on the other half?
Bacon on all of it.
All right, bacon and pineapple on all of the anchovies on half.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll enjoy.
At which point, you are the one that is going, I'm out, I'm going to go order my own pizza, you two enjoy.
See,
which is also fair.
This is why I don't think that ordering pizza is easy as apple pie.
No, because apple pie is apple pie.
Right. 3.1415297.
And cinnamon.
The cake is a lie.
Bagging serious cash comes from Zach Zimmerman.
If you've ever tossed a coin in a fountain and made a wish, odds are it didn't come true, but it is making one woman very rich. Deborah Pearson is the founder and CEO of a commercial wishing well company called Wishing Well, Well, Well. That's reporting record profits. Now, it's illegal in most states to take coins from the bottom of water features, not to mention unethical to manhandle someone's hope for a boyfriend by summer wedding season. But laws famously only govern human behavior. Deborah has adopted 400 raccoons. which have been trained, shaved, and pumped full of beta blockers to go deep sea fishing for steak quarters, half dollars, whole dollars, and the occasional token from Chuck E. Cheese. Animal rights activists called the company bad, like very, very bad. But Pearson maintains her nursery of raccoons enjoy the late-night skinny dips. The company is rapidly expanding into other verticals, training anteaters to dig in couch cushions, woodpeckers to check vending machines, and just-hatched chicks to straight-up just pickpocket people.
All right. Somebody figured out a kind of a sneaky way to make a lot of cash. Was it from Adam Burke, a movie producer who got a lot of money raised for his film by staffing it with people who sounded a lot like, but weren't, big Hollywood stars? From Negin, an AI company that raised hundreds of millions for their technology that turned out just to be 700 people pretending to be an AI. Or from Zach, a woman who figured out that she can rake in, literally, the money from wishing wells simply by dispatching raccoons to get it. Which of these is a real story of a money-making scheme?
Okay.
You know what?
I'm going to go with B.
I am
Are you
too.
going B?
I'm changing now that I've heard them side by side, I'm changing my vote. Yeah.
That's fine. You change your vote. I'm staying with A.
Yeah. So it's 2 on B and 1 on A?
And if it turned out to be the raccoons and the wishing wells were all...
And the raccoons lose their deposit.
Yep.
Gee, no one's going after that C?
No.
Really? Huh. Shaved raccoons. Who'd have thunk? No one wants to bet on shaving raccoons.
No. We do not.
Okay, these
because
all
we don't
sound
want
pretty
that
wild.
one to be the
But,
reality.
Because we don't want what? Who what?
We don't want that one to be the reality.
We don't
The
want to
Army-
live in that West Virginia. Thank you.
No!
I know Ohio was supposed to be like but I disagree. I don't think Ohio it should stand for like the weirdest place ever. I think it's West Virginia, because I have seen much weirder crap in West Virginia than I saw in Ohio. Honestly, Ohio was normal compared to West Virginia.
There's a reason that is the home of Mothman, and why Mothman has seen so many proposals, and why certain portions of the Mothman statue are as shiny as they are.
Lord, man.
That too.
pretty wild. But,
Ha-ha! Lockpick is in the chat. We summoned him.
Got here just in time to hear if it was raccoons or not.
I'm going to go with B, the AI, fake AI.
You're going to go with Negin's story.
I think the audience
About the
there.
AI. Okay, that's your
goes with
choice.
that
The
too.
audience seems excited about it. Well, to bring you the correct answer, we spoke to a reporter covering the real story.
The reason why some companies can get away with doing this kind of thing is that nobody really knows how AI even works. They just see it as this magic black box.
That was Parmi Olson from Bloomberg, who originally reported on the story of these 700 engineers pretending to be an AI. Congratulations, Craig, you got it right. You earned a point for Negin, and you have won our prize.
Thank you, Craig.
So now you guys can ask Lockpick the question you wanted to ask Lockpick.
Lockpick. If and when you get a chance and you're not busy with the raid train and stuff, we need you to go watch or find where you can watch the Apprentice movie and give us a
review.
what's the word? Thank you.
And
we need a review. We want to know if it's actually as truthful as they say it is.
Yeah. It's allowed to play in Canada, but it's too honest about the president to play in America at the moment. Yep. Right? Exactly. Like, now I'm super curious. So, this is, yeah. I guess whenever you have time after seeing The Apprentice, let us know and we'll do a special presentation and we'll get together. We'll do a special live and you can give us your take on the movie, your review of The Apprentice. And you can be our because we can't go see it. You can be our window into it, our proxy, our correspondent. That's the word I'm looking for. Of course, Lockpick. You can be my correspondent any day.
I knew that one was going to come up at some point.
No Viagra needed.
No.
I don't. I almost missed that.
I'm not sure if it's actually streaming yet. It's literally just released in theaters.
Yeah, you might have to go see it in a theater. Like it's not even yeah.
If it was streaming, I would figure out a way to watch it.
Yeah, we've got. I'm still paying for Surfshark, so it's streaming on Crave. What is Crave?
That's a question. That is a question for looking up after the show.
Okay. We're gonna see if we can find a way to see this movie and tell you about it. We're gonna do our best. Crave is a Canadian streaming service from Bell Canada. Oh, okay.
Are we sure we've got the same movie? Because
yeah, no, it sounds right. It sounds like because that. Yeah, I think it is. We'll. I'm DJing tonight. When are you? When are you free?
That's the right one.
When are you free, Lockpick? You know what? Hop in the Discord chat and let's talk about this real quick. I can't get on voice. No idea where your headset is.
Yes, it's
oh,
on
I know. I told them.
I'm guessing it's under a flag somewhere.
Was there finally a flag burning last night? Because sometimes that's the only way you can get it clean is with fire.
Oh no.
Lockpick says, I am not looking under any flags for a while. Oh, and do you remember telling Master Rasta that his bulge was not very big? That was so mean that it hurt me. I was hurt. I mean, you didn't just... That flag is proudly hung. At least something's proudly hung.
Oh, no.
I'm so sorry, Master Rasta. I'm so sorry.
And you just got done saying how you try so hard not to be the mean comedian and you do that.
I know. I
Uh-huh.
Yep. Sometimes I am just like my dad, and that is not a good thing. You know, I will say, amazingly enough, Lockpick doesn't appear to have gotten banned from Twitch. So you didn't violate any terms of service with Twitch, at least.
There were probably other violations, just not terms of service.
Oh, I think the flag felt violated. I think Lockpick felt violated. I think the British national anthem felt violated.
Did the cat leave the room when he did this? I know usually he's got the
Part
cat
of the
chilling on
problem is that Mochi wasn't there, so every time somebody went to go redeem cat treats, it was DJ treats, which means shots, which...
Oh!
Hey, what's the cat's name?
Mochi. Mochi? No. It's,
All right, when you two are in the chat, you can answer. What's the cat's name?
Latte. Sorry.
No, his name is the DJ.
No, Latte.
Okay. So
I don't
it's not
know
named
why.
after the thing.
I don't know why I went to Mochi. I know somebody
Oh,
else's.
06.
Thank you, Latte. Somebody else's cat is named Mochi, and that must be where it's stuck. Sorry, Lockpick. I did not mean to call your cat by the wrong name.
Mm-hmm.
That is almost not what I said. That's...
Yep.
Yeah. Back to the...
That one.
That one!
I didn't think you were the type of show to do cat calling.
Only to Lockpick.
Ah.
Well, and Master Asta 420, because I do actually like him too.
Mm.
Much love, guys. Mwah. All right, back to the show.
Thank you,
The
Craig.
voice of your choice for your voicemail. Well done, sir.
Thank you, guys. Have a great one. Take care.
Lockpick says, I think after last night, it's safe to say that God may indeed hate flags.
Mm-hmm.
And now the game where we ask people who've accomplished everything they ever set out to do one more thing. We call it Not My Job. Jeff Gordon is a living legend of American auto racing. He set modern NASCAR records for career wins, most wins in a season, among many other honors, before he retired 10 years ago. These days, he spends his time with various businesses as well as co-owning racing teams. And so far, we believe he has resisted the urge to kick the driver out of the car and say, here, let me do it. Jeff Gordon, welcome to Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
It is such a thrill to talk to you.
You really didn't have to say all those things, but please
go on. I have more. Do you want me to just list your wins by season? I have it here. We learned so many amazing things about you this week, but one of the most amazing things, to me at least, was that you won your first auto race when you were 5 years old.
Yeah, I guess I just think all professional race car drivers started racing when they were 5 or 6 years old. I mean, that was pretty common for me. I grew up in California, and the kids I was racing with were basically the same age.
So did you know that this was something you were going to be very good at?
No idea. No, I had no clue. I'd actually, my first racing experience was previous to that. I raced.
A, why are they letting 5-year-olds drive cars? B, why are they letting 5-year-olds drive go-karts? Soapbox Derby.
Yeah, the downhill derby. 5-year-olds can do that.
This was not...
doesn't matter what age, you can put them in the shopping cart and push them downhill.
That too.
Fair enough. Today's pre-roll is brought to you by The Hidden Leaf, downtown Charlottesville, 105 West Main Street on the downtown mall, above the Brick Suite 200 between the Green Cauldron and Hamilton's. A great place to go with some great buds to get some great buds. A bud. And the only thing better than their bud is their customer service. Also, they have the lowest prices in town, according to my own personally highly biased research, by which I mean I was personally very high when I did my biased research. Don't forget to check the website for times and events, such as Frosty Fridays, where you can find our other sponsors, the Kush Gang, and purveyors of fine edibles and drinkables, of which you have seen me consume quite a bit this morning, and Firehouse Craft Farm. The website is thehiddenleafcville.com. That's thehiddenleafcville.com. Thank you very much. And back to our regularly scheduled program. Should I start saying that at the end? Should I start tacking that in?
No.
Huh?
I mean, you can tack it in, but I wouldn't make it a regular thing.
Okay. And without further ado, let's get back to it.
MX bikes when I was like 4.5 years old.
4.5.
Yeah.
Right. What does a 4.5-year-old get if they win a race? They get to skip their nap? What is the prize?
Well, I didn't win a race, so I wouldn't know, because I realized then that I did not have the physicality to pedal a bicycle as fast as others. And when I got in the car, I'm like, I don't need that. I've got an engine.
Back.
So it did come, pretty quick, and I realized, gained confidence, and said, I can do this.
Right. This is actually another thing I'm very curious about. I know, for example, that on the track, you drivers are in radio contact at all times with your pit. What are you talking about? It's like, did you see what the president just tweeted?
I will say there were a few times in my career where I was fortunate enough to have a pretty big lead. And
just a few times.
And your mind starts to wander, and I think there were a few times I know some fans or something happening up in the grandstands, and I radioed to the team and said, "Hey, did you see that? Was that?" They're like, "Seriously, Jeff, you're noticing things up in the grandstand?
Really?
We're trying to win this race. Get back to the race."
Talk about, I'm going to win, but what are we going to have for dinner later? I noticed.
The other thing you have to remember is that these radios are being broadcast to everyone. So,
really?
So you have to be careful of the things that you say. I didn't always do that well, but you try.
Really? So,
See,
like,
it's-
let's say, and I'm sure this happened to you more than a couple times, let's say things go poorly, you spin out, maybe something catches fire. You have to be careful to say, oh, goodness.
Oh, dang, 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 dang,
I am
dang, dang,
truly and well
yeah.
fudged.
Yeah.
Well,
that, as well as if somebody else caused it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, then the choice things that you are thinking about saying.
Really, I mean, I find that, I mean, that is...
Here's the part you guys are going to love.
Okay.
Because you guys are comedians and I'm not. But in order for that to be broadcast, there's a button on the steering wheel. So in order for the driver to talk back to the team, you have to push the button. And these things are being broadcast, so you don't have to push the button. You could just say them. And in my case, 100% of the time, I wanted to make sure I pushed the button so everybody really could hear it.
Yeah. Now, you've retired, and as I said, one of the many things you do in addition to your businesses and philanthropy is you co-own some racing teams, right? You've got
Yes.
and how hard is it for you to, like, just look at the driver or watch them and just think, just let me do it?
I mean, I realize things have evolved, technology's evolved, the cars drive different today. But what does happen to me, and I think of my wife every time, because when I was racing, I would get out of the car that day, let's say, we didn't win, and she would go, I don't understand why you didn't just pass that car.
This is your wife.
Yeah, she's like, couldn't you just push the pedal down further and just go by? I'm like, honey, I like, it's already all the way there. Like, that was as fast as I could go. So I then, while I'm watching the drivers, I'm going, just pass it. Why can't you just pass them?
Right. And I just in credit to your wife, just comparing her to myself, at least you knew you had a pedal. That was news to me. I enjoyed that. Really, you're like, come on, just do it. Just do it. I know everybody asks you guys, after you've, all the racers, current and retired, if you speed when you're driving your car. I'm not going to ask you that. I know.
You're not?
No, I'm not going to ask you that. Well, unless you want to tell me. Do you? I just understood it was like the big cliche that all the race drivers get.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that it's that, I just get in the car and say, how fast can I go? But, I mean, I'm still human.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes you got to go.
What I really
over
wanted
the
to know
speed limit.
what I really wanted to know is if you're just driving, just doing an errand, maybe doing something with your kids, driving out of the grocery store, if you ever say to you, if you're just sitting there and going, vroom.
I have one more question, which is that I learned how to drive on a stick shift.
Nice.
Does that improve your opinion of me?
Yes. 100%.
There you are.
I have an 18-year-old, soon-to-be 18-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son, and my goal this summer is to get them to learn.
Wait a minute.
My son is...
Now, before we get into this, I'm assuming all three of us in this conversation drive stick. Can drive stick.
And yes.
Yes.
Choose
Yes.
to? No.
I would choose to if it didn't cost, like, extra at this point. I would choose to. I like it. I miss it. I do love driving. I like... However, I learned to drive standard, stick shift, but it was on an already 15-year-old Volvo, 20-year-old Volvo 240. So we like playing with sticks, you say? Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
I like playing with sticks. It was a Volvo 240. It was a 244. No, it was a 244. And it had been converted from an automatic transmission to a standard transmission. It had the transmission replaced. And so not only was it a buggy, Volvo, old, hard to drive Volvo, the transmission was extra difficult. And it was, I had to get really good at knowing when to put the clutch in and when to pop the clutch out with that thing to get it to not, and to know what gear to be in to keep it from, leapfrogging or chugging across the road, or like, it was temperamental. And I remember the first time I drove a standard transmission that wasn't like that, and it was smooth. And it was like, oh, wow, this is dangerously easy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, that was still a standard transmission. Like, when it got to automatic, I really took a few years to reprogram my brain because it was just way too easy. It was so easy that I could just lose focus so quickly. So, that's my opinion about the standard transmission.
My son is
my
like going through driver's ed and stuff, so maybe. But my daughter, I want her to learn how to drive.
Here's the question. Are you, Jeff Gordon, one of the greatest race car drivers who have ever lived, going to teach your children to drive?
I mean, yes. Reluctantly, because it's probably one of the scariest things I've ever done. Is sit in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
While, somebody has zero experience driving, is driving the vehicle, and I kind of like to be in control of the vehicle. So that's probably the most terrified I've ever been, is when my daughter was learning how to drive.
I'm just imagining you turning to your daughter, she's 16, right, whatever she is, you're like, why don't you just pass him?
I just want her to use the brakes when somebody's brake lights come on. I'll be happy with just
That's okay. We'll start there. Well, Jeff Gordon, it is such a pleasure to talk to you. We've asked you here to play a game we're calling
Leave the Driving to Us.
As we have discussed, you're an accomplished driver, so we thought we'd ask you 3 questions about passengers. Answer 2 to 3 correctly, you'll win our prize for one of our listeners, the voice of anyone they might choose for their voicemail. Bill, who is NASCAR legend Jeff Gordon playing for?
Kelsey Woods of Wendell, North Carolina.
All right.
Oh, North Carolina. North Carolina. So got to take care of my Carolinians.
Exactly. Here's your first question. In 2017, a taxi driver in the UK was pulled over for speeding, and he laid the blame on his passengers, telling the police what? A, they kept farting, and it was so bad he had to get the ride over as quickly as possible. B, one of them said, follow that car, and since there wasn't any car in sight, he sped up to find one. Or C, one said, the acid we just took will kick in 10 minutes, and whether it happens back here or at our home is up to you.
I'm going with A.
My son is going to be so proud of me for picking A.
Your son should be proud because you're right, yes.
Nice.
Yeah, he said that I had to get out of the car. They were farting so badly. There were 3 of them, so let's have some sympathy for him. All right, very good.
It's
people love to ride on roller coasters.
Wait. They go for the
passengers,
fart
including
joke.
one in Arakawa, Japan. And this roller coaster is famous for being what? A, a nearly surefire way to induce labor, leading to long lines of pregnant women. B, it is the slowest roller coaster in the entire country, so slow some riders didn't realize once when it had derailed and stopped cold. Or C, it's the world's only one-way roller coaster, meaning every ride ends in a long walk back to the start.
Oh, Lord. Well, I don't do anything slow, so I'm not going with B. I'm going to go with the one way.
I think it's A.
No, it was actually B, the slow one. It is the slowest roller coaster in Japan. It is so it's called the family coaster.
Remind me to never go to an amusement park next time I'm there.
All right, this is your last question. If you get this, you win. In 2016, on a Southwest Airlines flight from Oakland to Kansas City, and full of Oakland Raiders fans, The pilot actually took to the PA at the end of the flight to congratulate the passengers. For what? A, they had, he felt, the most creative heckles of the safety announcement he had ever heard. B, for the first time in his experience, they had drank literally all of the alcohol on board of the plane. Or C, every passenger had boarded the plane, stowed their bags, and got their seatbelt buckled in 8 minutes flat.
Oh,
A.
gosh.
Or C. C.
Oh, my goodness.
C.
It's a crowd participation.
It really is.
B.
B, yes, it was, of course, B. They were Oakland Raiders fans.
Thank you.
They drank all of it during one 3-hour flight. Bill, how did Jeff Gordon do?
2 out of 3.
Wow.
Checkered
Why?
flags
Give me
everywhere.
a
There you
liver.
go. Jeff Gordon is a NASCAR.
What?
3-hour pour.
3-hour pour. Not a 3-hour tour. 3-hour pour. Jeez. The flight attendant misheard me.
Yes.
Gosh.
Yes.
Okay.
Jeff Gordon is a NASCAR legend and the vice chairman of Hendrick Motorsports. NASCAR's Chicago Street Race returns to this fair city on July 5th and 6th. Jeff Gordon, thank you so much for being with us on Ladies and Gentlemen. Jeff Gordon, everybody. A living legend.
Thank you.
They were flying. Claimed that they set the bar too low.
What?
They were flying, so you couldn't claim that they set the bar too low.
In just a minute, be careful who you kiss. We'll tell
I'm
you
not
why in our
rewarding
listener
that
limit
one.
challenge game. Call 1-888-WAIT-WAIT to join us in the air. We'll be back in a minute with more of Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me from NPR.
The strongest thing /
Friendly digital tools company Lansing.
Our news quiz. I'm Bill Curtis. We are playing this week with Negin Farsad, Zach Zimmerman, and Adam Burke. And here again is your host at the Studebaker Theater in Chicago, Illinois, Peter Sagal.
Thank you so much, Bill. Thank you, everybody. In just a minute, it's a game a man from Nantucket gave his life for. The Listener Limerick Challenge. If you'd like to play, give us a call at 1-888-WAIT-WAIT. That's 1-888-924-8924. Right now, panel, though, some more questions for you from the week's news. Negin, forget about all those expensive summer camps. According to one parenting columnist, this summer, you should just let your kids do what?
Oh, just like throw them onto the streets.
Yes, let them go wild.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Millennial parents, says Emil Niazzi, are tired of overscheduling their kids all year, and then the summer comes and they keep doing it. So more and more of them are just letting their children go feral. Some millennials are saying they want their kids to experience what they had, which is, quote, 90s summers. So here you go, kids. Let's light a campfire, drink some Sunny Delight, and tell spooky stories about Monica Lewinsky.
But I do have to say, I love the idea of kids not having anything to do because I worry that kids don't get in enough trouble. You know what I mean? Let's just get them out there touching tetanus or whatever you're supposed to do.
Commit crimes this summer.
Yeah, let's do some light shoplifting. Just experience some stuff.
Aren't the kids just going to be playing on their phones, though? You can't bring back a 90s summer in the era of, smartphones and tech.
That's true.
What did you say?
Find those dead bodies.
Find those dead bodies. That's right. Go poke them with a stick.
Yes,
That's why you precede it by smash a phone with a hammer spring.
That's right.
Zach, this week the internet debated something called the Danny DeVito rule. Now, that is a theory that the way to tell if a romantic comedy is actually good is it is good if it would work if what?
Danny DeVito were in it?
Danny DeVito was the romantic male lead in it?
Exactly right. So this is the test. This is the test. We all see these rom-coms and the handsome guy goes to great lengths to win the girl, right? But would it still be charming and not kind of creepy and scary if instead of like a heartthrob, the role was played by Danny DeVito, right? So think of, say, Danny DeVito holding a boombox over his head outside his girlfriend's window from the movie Say Anything. Is that still adorable, or does she get a restraining order?
Is this
Now, hold on. Are we talking Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Danny DeVito?
Well,
Or
it's modern times, so many people do not recognize him from anything else.
Or
Yeah.
are we talking some of his actual brilliant, I mean,
Twins, Matilda.
right.
Let's say the Danny DeVito from Twins, because he's
The
still
best
he's-
of the best of Twins too, because he really like in the best moments in Twins, he shined beautifully. Let's even go with Danny DeVito from Romancing the Stone and
How'd that work?
because
Jewel of the Nile.
yeah, Jewel of the Nile. Because that Danny DeVito wasn't, and that was a young and relatively attractive Danny DeVito at the time. Also,
Someone that would technically fit the younger protagonist
right.
category.
So, like, are we talking, Danny DeVito at his best? Or are we talking Danny DeVito at his creepiest? Because that makes a huge difference. Danny DeVito.
Creepiest is the Penguin.
Huh?
At his creepiest, he was the Penguin.
Right. And ain't no that Chester Cobblepot ain't getting nowhere with me. Like that can't do no. Ain't nothing. Sorry, you keep that.
I'd say
Don't touch me with that fish. Keep your fit. I don't want your flipper. Nope. Go on, Chester. Which is weird because there are versions of the Penguin that I find attractive, by the way.
Yeah.
Like the guy who does it in Gotham is actually very cute, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, what were you saying, though? I'm sorry.
I said either Danny DeVito at his best or Danny DeVito at his best is playing the most average guy in the room.
Right. Like, yeah. It really is like, what Danny DeVito are we getting? Because I think it would be better if you said Paul Giamatti. I think Paul Giamatti would be a better stand-in than Danny DeVito.
Well, the reason why they use Danny is because he is comedic, just straight up. Paul Giamatti is a little more cerebral in his comedic roles, so you're not usually getting a ha 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 ha, that's funny. It's more of a that's actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
Not to say that there's anything wrong with either of those in the slightest. Just that there's a difference, and therefore people are referring to the.
I think they're going for Danny DeVito because he's creepy. That's really why I think they're going for Danny DeVito. And Paul Giamatti is actually not that creepy. Like, even when he played that teacher who was supposed to look like he smelled bad, like, he wasn't creepy. He just looked funky. There's no part of Paul Giamatti that makes me uncomfortable around him. So, like, he could play a romantic lead, and has, very convincingly, which is, I think, part of why they don't go for him. I think they go for Danny DeVito because he is creepy, because they know him from Always Sunny, and, the Penguin, and they know that version of him. Not the version of him that was in in Matilda or Twins.
Throw Mama from a Train.
Mm-hmm.
Throw Mama from the Train, right? Very, very human sides of him that was a good movie. That was Billy Crystal.
I think so.
Billy Crystal, Danny DeVito, and then the mom from the Goonies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's get back to the game. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see where they go with this, though.
Diss on Danny DeVito or a diss on the fact that most rom-coms suck?
I think it is
Yes.
meant to be the latter. The idea being that these rom-coms, these movies about, guys trying to doing everything they can to get the girl who may not deserve the girl, are just nonsense that we are fooled by because the guy is so handsome and the woman
Pretty
pretends
privilege.
to fall for it. If you put a normal-looking person, say Danny DeVito, you would realize how creepy and strange the man's behavior was.
Okay, hold on. Because there's entire industries and life itself based on men thinking women are hot or not.
Right.
And so what women get this one little area of culture
Right.
where they're allowed to think that the guy is cute and picture themselves making out with him. And now that's being threatened by Danny DeVito.
Wait a minute. Nagin, they're not actually going to put Danny DeVito in the movie.
I know, I'm escalating the threat.
I understand. I just want you to know you will still go to the movies and there'll be handsome men.
It's okay if the movies are garbage and it's about the guy being handsome. I just want to let women have one thing.
You know what? Go off, sister.
And
Go
Danny
off.
DeVito, nothing.
You're actually thinking that one rom-com that would be hard to apply this to is Sleepless in Seattle, because in that movie, the two leads, Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, don't meet. They don't see each other till the very end of the movie. So we're like, if Danny DeVito was in it, it's the top of the Empire State Building, end of the movie, Meg Ryan walks out and says to Danny DeVito, "Excuse me, little boy, but have you seen a handsome man around here?"
Jerry Maguire, you had me at hello.
See, that's the problem.
Coming up, it's Lightning Fill in the Blank, but first it's the game where you have to listen for the rhyme. If you'd like to play on air, call or leave a message at 1-888-WAIT-WAIT. That's 1-888-924-8924. You can see us most weeks at the Studebaker Theater right here in downtown Chicago, or catch us on the road this summer. We'll be in beautiful Salt Lake City on July 31st, and then Tanglewood in western Massachusetts on August 28th. Salt Lake info is at KUER.org, and for tickets and information to all of our live shows, you can go on over to NPRpresents.org. And also, check out our brand new TikTok. It's at WaitWaitNPR. Hi, you're on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Hi, Peter. This is Jenny Lagath from Moorestown, New Jersey.
Oh, hey, Moorestown, New Jersey. Now I know.
Not Morristown.
I was about to say, I know Morristown. I mean, they won't let me back into Morristown. What do you do there?
I'm an administrator at Princeton, and sometimes they let me do a little teaching in the religion department.
Do they really?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, you've been good. Go over and give a lecture.
Right.
Right. Well, congratulations. I should say congratulations to Princeton, because you haven't been noticed yet.
Yes, we're trying to keep it that way.
Keep your head down. Well, Jay,
Right.
welcome to the show. Bill Curtis
Oh,
is now
God.
going to perform for you 3 news-related limericks with the last word or phrase.
I'm sorry, that shouldn't be as funny as that was, but let's take a moment to appreciate how messed up but funny that was. 'Cause keep your head down, Princeton. Doing fine. All of a sudden, Cornell, you're looking good. Stay hidden, Cornell.
Phrase missing from each. If you can fill in that last word or phrase
Yikes.
correctly in 2 of the limericks, you'll be a big winner. Ready to go?
I'm ready.
Here is your first limerick.
Though diet fads often entice me, their meal plans are often too pricey. Now I'll lose my spare tire when my tongue is on fire. I make
Spicy.
sure that my food is too...
Spicy?
Spicy, yes. According to researchers at Penn State, the quote, oral burn that comes with spicy food makes you eat slower and thus less, leading to eventual weight loss. The idea is simple, right?
BS.
Hurts to eat, you eat less. That's how I lost 20 pounds recently. I just sprinkled a little broken glass on everything.
I'm very proud. I just upped to medium salsa from
Did you
mild.
really?
Yes,
Congratulations.
I've been on a journey in order
Really?
to, increase my spice tolerance.
Here is your next limerick.
The white dust on their nose is so plain. Those small pesky bugs have no brain.
Cocaine.
My party supplies got snorted by flies because fruit flies got hooked on
Cocaine?
Yes.
that's
In a
it.
world first, scientists at the University of Utah have engineered fruit flies susceptible to cocaine addiction. Oh boy, you do not want to see a fly the day after a long weekend cocaine binge. 1,000 red and puffy little eyes. The scientists say the cocaine-addicted fruit flies will help advance addiction research. So first they're going to get the little guys addicted, and then they're going to sit them down and be like, Fly, this is an intervention. We're worried about you.
Wait, I already feel like flies behave like they are on cocaine.
How can you tell?
So how can you tell that they're now susceptible to It doesn't make any sense.
Especially like the fourth time you see a fly go to the bathroom, be like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
I will say fruit flies doing cocaine just describes Pride Month, to be honest.
Wait, so but why did these scientists do that?
Because they were also doing cocaine.
They were like, you know what'd be really cool? All right, you know what'd be really cool? How about?
Or an intern is just like covering their tracks, like, oh crap, we left out the coke last night. It's a study. It's a study.
All right, here is your last limerick.
It's not marital bliss I am dissing, but I'm sad and my old life I'm missing. And anxiety slips through the touch of our lips.
Kissing.
I got sad because we've done too much.
Kissing?
Yes,
Exactly
new research suggests that anxiety and depression can be transmitted to another person through kissing.
It doesn't work
Bad.
with
You
us.
can make it even worse if while you're kissing, you also whisper, "You're bad at this." Apparently, they say that it has something to do with your biome, your bacteria.
So
Yes.
So this depression that I've been going through, Kat,
Yeah.
makes me wonder, is this the peanut gallery's fault?
Have you been kissing him behind my back?
I don't know. Have I?
I don't think so.
Peanut
I would
gallery?
be very surprised.
See, that's what I was thinking, but like... But they're saying there's evidence to the otherwise, so...
Bacteria, and that can be transmitted through kissing. As much as 80 million bacteria get transferred from one person to another in just one kiss. There, I just depressed you without touching you at all.
There's your
I
evidence
don't get
about
it. The
him.
bacteria are depressed.
Apparently. They're like, oh man, how come we can't get cocaine like the fruit? Bill, how did Jenny do in our quiz?
She did Princeton strong, 3 in a row.
Congratulations.
Thank you. This was great.
Take care. Bye-bye.
I thought that whole getting depressed from kissing was called mono.
I mean, I would find that pretty depressing, so yes.
Yes, you will.
No, because usually I go to bed
This
before
message
you.
comes from Warby Parker. Prescription eyewear that's expertly took what's least
Each of our players will have 60 seconds in which to answer as many fill-in-the-blank questions.
and support. Visit lisa.com for 30% off mattresses and a free sleep bundle. Plus, get an extra
right.
$50 off with promo code NPR.
Ready to go into the last round,
Now
everybody?
on to our final game, Lightning Fill in the Blank. Each of our players will have 60 seconds in which to answer as many fill-in-the-blank questions as they can. Each correct answer now worth 2 points. Bill, can you give us the scores?
I can indeed. Nagin has 3. Zach and Adam each have 2.
That means Zach and Adam are tied for second, and I'm going to arbitrarily pick Adam to go first. So the clock will start when I begin your first question. Fill in the blank. On Wednesday, Adam, President Trump announced a blank ban targeting 12 countries.
Travel.
Right. According to a new report, the net worth of the 10 blankest people in America increased $365 billion last year.
Richest?
Yes. Wealthiest this week, U.S. blanks on steel increased to 50%.
Tariffs?
Right. On Tuesday, a judge ordered the White House to continue offering blank-affirming care to inmates in federal prisons.
Gender?
Right. This week, the U.S. beat out Australia to become the country that blanks the most in the entire world.
Farts.
Sleeps?
No, swears.
Oh.
On Thursday, a Japanese spacecraft attempting to land on the blank crashed during its descent.
Moon?
Right. On Thursday, the Switch 2, the newest gaming console from blank, was released.
Nintendo?
Right.
Nintendo.
This week, officials in Washington State had to release a warning to drivers after a truck tipped over on the highway while carrying blank.
Dimes?
I heard about this. Was it a bunch of coins?
No, it was millions of bees.
No.
According to the local sheriff, millions of bees escaped from a cargo truck after it tipped over near the Canadian border. Fortunately, less than 24 hours later, a group of volunteer beekeepers.
No. No. That is no.
Later, a group of volunteer beekeepers helped recover most of them, and they swear they're definitely the escaped bees, not just a bunch of new ones. You can tell because they're still wearing their tiny orange jumpsuits. Bill, how did Adam do in our quiz?
Very well. 6 right, 12 more points, total of 14 puts him in the lead.
All right, so Zach, you are up next. Here we go. Fill in the blank. According to the Congressional Budget Office, the so-called big beautiful blank would add $2.4 trillion to the deficit.
Bill.
Right. On Wednesday, the U.S. vetoed a UN resolution calling for immediate ceasefire in blank.
Gaza.
Right. On Tuesday, flash floods hit parts of Kansas after over a month's worth of blank fell in just one day.
Rainfall.
Right. Yes. This week, a dedicated DoorDash driver in Chicago drove onto blank while trying to deliver an order.
Lakeshore Drive.
No, that would be scary. He drove onto the tarmac at O'Hare Airport. On Tuesday, food safety inspectors said that some ground beef sold at Whole Foods may be contaminated with blank.
E. coli.
Right after their playoff loss to the Indiana Pacers, the New York Blanks fired their head coach.
Knicks.
That doesn't seem nice. Yes, this week a man in Norway was shocked when he woke up and discovered that he had slept through blank.
The pandemic.
No,
New
a
York
450-foot-long cargo ship crashing into his front yard,
Same.
which happened to be on the ocean. Authorities have determined that the ship's watch officer fell asleep while on duty, leading to the vessel veering off course and right into the guy's front yard. Also asleep, the house owner who did not wake up when the ship, which was very large, crashed right there. Call it a disaster if you want, but I think it's a touching story of two men miles apart, napping in harmony. Bill, how did Zach do on our quiz?
Well, he did very well. 5 right, 10 more points, total of 12.
I mean, you just got
He's
a
in
lifetime
second place.
supply
Behind
of
Adam.
delivery.
All right,
Also
so
known as last.
we're encouraging here.
What did you say?
You just got a lifetime supply of front door delivery.
Yep.
And so how many does Nagin need to take it?
6 to win again.
Here we go, Nagin.
Okay.
This is for the game. Fill in the blank. Following a series of surprise drone attacks from Ukraine, Trump and blank had a 75-minute phone call.
Putin?
Right. This week, the White House said it was suspending international visas for new students at blank university.
Harvard.
Right. On Wednesday, the mayor of Baltimore confirmed that a blank spill had stained part of the waterfront red.
Oil?
Right. This week, a woman in China who said she cried for 3 days after her boyfriend broke up with her finally got her revenge by blanking.
Killing him?
Getting rid of his Twitter account.
No, sending 2,000 pounds of onions to his house. In order to avoid spreading outbreaks overseas, the CDC suggested travelers get the blank vaccine before flying.
COVID?
Foot and mouth
The
vaccine?
measles vaccine. On Wednesday, the trailer for the second part of the film adaptation of the musical Blank was released.
The
Wicked?
musical Once Upon a Mattress.
No, although deep pull, thank you. the musical Wicked, Wicked for Good. This week, a man in Colorado escaped with just minor injuries after he was hit by a car while he was in a blank.
Doing
Ambulance.
ketamine.
No, he was in a porta potty.
Damn.
Apparently,
Not
the
cool.
driver who had veered off the road and ran straight into this porta potty. And okay, we've all been there. You have an emergency. You're desperate. You see an old, uncared for porta potty, and you're sitting in there, and you think, well,
Oh,
at
God.
least this couldn't get any worse.
Right.
Bill, did Negin do well enough to win?
Well, she got 3 right for 6 more points. Total of 9 goes to the Irishman. He's our champion, Adam Burke.
Yay! In just a minute, we're going to ask our panelists to predict, with all the competitive reading going on, what will be the hit book of the summer to come. But first, let me tell you that Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me is a production of NPR and WBEZ Chicago in association with Urgent Haircut Productions, Doug Berman, Benevolent Overlord. Philip Goedicke writes our limericks. Our public address announcer is Paul Friedman. Our tour manager is Shana Donald. Thanks to the staff and crew at the Studebaker Theater. BJ Liederman composed our theme. Our program is produced by Jennifer Mills, Miles Dornbos, and Lillian King. Special thanks to Mohamed El Sheikhi and Monica Hickey. Peter Gwynn is the GOAT, the gwinniest of all time. Emma Choi is our vibe curator. Technical directions from Lorna White. Our CFO is Colin Miller. Our production manager is Robert Newhouse. Our senior producer is Ian Chillog. The executive producer of Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me is Mr. Michael Danforth. Now, panel, what will be this summer's big hit book? Negin Farsad.
The Grapes of Wrath Sonoma Weekend.
Zach Zimmerman.
The latest novel in the Hangry Games trilogy.
And Adam Burke.
I'm cheating and getting AI to read the books for me, so it's working its way through the Asimov classic You Robot.
Well, if any of that happens, we're going to ask you about it right here on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Thank you so much, Bill Curtis. Thanks to Negin Farsad, Adam Burke, and to Zach Zimmerman on a great debut on our show. Thanks to our fabulous audience here at the Studebaker Theater in downtown Chicago. Thanks to all of you for listening wherever you might be. I'm Peter Sagal. We'll see you next week.
Da 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 da. Bring.
This is NPR.
This message comes from NPR.
Well, all right, guys. As the scores are, Kat comes in a very close third place with 29. Meanwhile, the chaotic techno wizard, the Peanut Gallery himself, right behind me at 33, but I managed to squeak it out with 34.
Nice.
So, there was one answer that I got somewhere early in the game that he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you were 3 points ahead of me going into that.
Ah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
3 points ahead of you, so you got a 2-pointer that I didn't. Well, I mean, we don't know. Since we're not keeping track of exactly what question we've each answered right or wrong. We have no idea. But statistically.
Right.
Well, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you very much, Kat. Thank you very much, Peanut Gallery. I really appreciate it. Wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. It's a delight. Thank you very much to Just Be Crystal in the chat. Thank you very much to Chris into 386. Thank you to Lockpick. Mwah. Yeah, get back to us about giving us that report about the movie Master Rasta 420. Much love to you. I'm still not as sure if the J. Floyd person is if we should be thanking them for hanging out or not. You ain't.
Well, they were here.
They
That's
were
all we
here.
need to-
They were
They
here.
were
They interacted. So thank you for interacting at least. Though we couldn't do anything but go in circles there.
Yeah.
Not sure who you are. Not sure what that was about. Anyway.
It's an older account, so at least there's that.
All right. So, stick around for the raid. We will be raiding out to, DJ Margarita Mel over at the Sunday No Pants Raid Train hosted by my future ex-husband, DJ Lockpick, up in Canada. So thank you everybody for being here. Much love to everyone, and now is the time on the show when I say, as they say around here, 2 up, 2 down, VA, double deuces. We're out, y'all.
C:/AI.exe. Enter. Good morning. How are you today?